In a world where justice often feels cold, rushed and distant, there was one man who proved it could be kind. His name was Frank Caprio. Known by many as the most compassionate judge in the world, he transformed his courtroom into a place of empathy. He wasn't known for harsh punishments, but for listening with his heart, for reminding us that behind every fine, there's a human story. Today, the world says goodbye to Frank Caprio, and here at CuriousVerse, we open a new playlist in his honor, a space dedicated to remembering great names who shaped our century, not just through their achievements, but through their humanity. This is the story of Judge Frank Caprio. And this is CuriousVerse. Frank Caprio was born in 1936 in Providence, Rhode Island. The son of Antonio and Maria, Italian immigrants who crossed the ocean in search of a better life. He grew up in a humble home where bread was shared with gratitude and values were taught with care and strength. His father worked as a milkman and fruit seller. His mother cared for the home with quiet dignity. From a young age, Frank learned that life was built through effort, honesty, and respect. He became the first in his family to attend college, studied hard, earned a law degree, and soon began teaching, passing on knowledge to young students who, like him, dared to dream. But his purpose reached beyond the classroom. He felt called to serve, not just to judge, but to uplift. That's how he entered the judiciary, carrying with him the roots that shaped him. Those roots never left him. They were present in every decision. They formed not just the man he became, but the judge the world would come to love. The world came to know Frank Caprio through a simple, yet extraordinary program. Court in Providence wasn't about major crimes or dramatic trials. It was about ordinary people, traffic tickets, parking violations, expired meters. But in his hands, even the smallest case became something meaningful. Instead of just applying the law, he listened. Instead of punishing, he asked, "What happened to you?" Cases that seemed trivial turned into deeply emotional moments. He smiled with children. He connected with families. He forgave when he saw that life had already punished enough. In some hearings, he even cried with the person in front of him. And the world watched, in silence, in tears, by the millions. His court clips went viral, translated into dozens of languages. And they showed people across the globe that justice could have a face, and that face could smile. Frank Caprio believed that enforcing the law was not enough. It was essential to understand people, and that's why he often repeated a powerful phrase: "Behind every ticket, there is a story." To him, no case was too small. Every hearing was a window into real life, with its struggles, mistakes, and quiet battles. His mission was to find balance between the letter of the law and the voice of compassion. That vision crossed borders. It became the subject of interviews, lectures, and inspired legal minds around the world. He was nominated for a Daytime Emmy, but his greatest recognition didn't come from trophies. It came from the faces of those who left his courtroom lighter, heard, and understood. Because people didn't see him as just a judge. They saw him as living proof that justice doesn't have to be blind. It can be compassionate. What began in a small courtroom in Providence quickly crossed borders. His videos, full of warmth and humanity, were translated, dubbed, and shared across platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. People from different cultures, distant languages, and opposing beliefs were moved by his simple and sincere way of judging. What was once local became global. What seemed ordinary became a symbol. Frank Caprio became a phenomenon, without scandal, without spectacle, and without ever losing his kindness. He became a universal symbol of empathy, a local judge who never sought fame, and yet became a global inspiration. His voice crossed screens, it touched generations, and it left behind a powerful message. The law can be fair and still have heart. On August 20th, 2025, the world lost more than a judge. It lost a symbol of humanity, Frank Caprio passed away after a quiet battle with pancreatic cancer. He was 88 years old. The news of his passing moved people across the globe. Flags were lowered to half-staff. Tributes came from governors, public officials, and legal colleagues. But the most powerful messages came from where his heart always belonged. The people. People who had never stepped foot in his courtroom. People who didn't even speak his language, but who felt his compassion through a screen. His absence left a silence, in courtrooms, in social media, in the memories of those who heard him speak, even once. But his memory lit a flame that cannot be extinguished, a flame of empathy, a reminder that justice can still be carried out, with kindness. The playlist, Great Names of the Century, begins today because the story of Judge Frank Caprio could never be forgotten. He is the reason this journey starts. A space created to honor men and women who shaped the world, not just by what they achieved, but by how deeply they touched others. Frank Caprio taught us that justice can be human, that kindness is not weakness, and that even the smallest gestures, a smile, a word of encouragement, an unexpected act of mercy, can change the course of a life. He is gone, but his example remains, and it's that example that lights the path forward. Because if there's one thing this century desperately needs, it's more people who judge not only with their minds, but also with their hearts. If you believe the world needs more men like Judge Caprio, share this video, because legacies like his should never fade. They should multiply. Imagine a world where every judge listened before speaking, where compassion wasn't rare, but expected. What if justice systems, so vast, so rigid, remembered the simplest truth, that behind every case there is a person? Frank Caprio showed us that justice doesn't have to lose its heart to keep its strength, that kindness is not a weakness, but a form of wisdom. Maybe that's why millions were moved by him. Because deep down, we all long to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. He never asked for fame, he just listened. And in doing so, he became a guide. A map was left behind, not made of laws or rules, but of mercy. And now, it's up to us to walk it. Thank you for watching this tribute. If it touched your heart, share it with someone. Because legacies like his don't belong to the past. They belong to all of us.